good buddy Brandon Bringley are in town again, and I'm delighted the boys join me in the studio. Now, lads, you're very welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having us back, Tommy.
It seems like no time you were up here again.
Yeah. It was just a
Last
few
year,
months
wasn't
ago.
it?
Yeah, September. Really feels like a while, but not too long, really.
How have things been going since anyway?
Pretty darn good, I guess.
Now, for any of our listeners who didn't hear you the last time you were on with me, I take you one by one. Ross, Randy, first, let me a little bit about you. You're from Arizona originally, are you?
Yep, born and raised Phoenix, Arizona.
And how did you come to end up in Nashville?
Really, I had always wanted to get out of Phoenix, Arizona for as long as I could remember. And I had started doing the music stuff when I was about 19 and did that around my hometown for a year or so. Knew I was going to go somewhere. I was thinking maybe to California or New York City, and then just sort of randomly decided on Nashville. I'd never been there to visit. I knew one friend that played drums with one of my first bands ever in Phoenix, and he had lived there, and I knew he was liking it, and I just sort of randomly decided one day I was going to move to Nashville and packed up my car and drove it on out there.
You know, it's funny, I was reading a little bit about you earlier on today on Facebook on one of your profiles, and it's just like, I've been out in Nashville myself now on holidays, but it's just like your story is just like a lot of people who come to Nashville. You're in there, you're trying to get the break, and I was reading where you met a lot of friends. I mentioned a guy called Jim Martin to you earlier on.
Oh, yeah.
And you all used to hang out together, and I believe you all stayed in a farm outside the city and recorded an album called The Farm Tapes. Is that right?
Yeah, so Jim actually wasn't part of the Farm Tapes, but Jim is one of the main people that I think me and Brandon can both say helped us out a lot as far as just, learning how to write songs, learning how to play, really. Jim's a master of the live performance, and he's part of the All Nighters America rendition. Yeah. He's a little up there in years, so it's hard for him to travel over here, but every Saturday at a place called Bobby's Idle Hour Tavern, you can find the three of us doing the All Nighters show.
Yeah. And Brandon, yourself, you're from another part of the country. You're from Alabama.
Yeah, I was born in Asheville, North Carolina, but I've lived in Alabama since I was 4 or 5 years old. And I went up to St. Louis to wrestle in college, and I moved to Nashville with a teammate of mine, and then me and Randy both actually ended up working at the same stone yard together after we had kind of linked up in Nashville and became friends and stuff. So I kind of just made it down there by chance. My buddy had a good job, and I just took a chance and went down there.
You're just after answering my next question. I was going to ask you how the two of you met up. And the interesting thing I found from the first time I was out in Nashville, how all people from all around the country come there looking for the break, and it can be hard enough. You could be there 10 or 12 years and nothing might happen, and you could be lucky and you could meet the right people at the right time, and you're on the pig's back, so to speak.
Yeah. It's they call it a 10-year town. I think there's a reason for that, and I think it's more so, as opposed to just getting lucky at the right time, it's more so all that cumulative time you put in, you'll eventually along the way meet the people who are going to help you get to that next level. So,
and I suppose it's if you were playing in a bar somewhere and someone come in from one of the record companies and they seen you and liked you, they could just snap you up like that. Or how do you go about getting into, say, co-writes, these publishing companies that take people on for songwriting? How does that work?
I mean, I don't have too much experience in the publishing company realm, but co-writing is a thing that's just always happening around Nashville. I have had a couple of writes, way long time ago that were like sort of tryout writes with writers at one or two different publishing companies. That's not really my scene though, but I mean, everybody, whether you're signed, not signed, just trying to be a songwriter or trying to be an artist, trying to make it independently, however you do it, everybody's collaborating, everyone's writing together a lot. It's kind of the thing to do, I suppose.
And when did you bring out your first album?
First album, I think about 3 years ago, the very first one, and the most recent one, we're coming up on 2 years of that. I think later this year in October will be the 2-year anniversary of my most recent record.
Yeah. And I believe you worked on Brandon's album, one of Brandon's albums, did you?
Yeah, Randy's been a part of every album I've pretty much done over the last 6 or 7 years, and we just finished recording a new one. It's probably, songs will start coming out in the next 4 or 5 months, and Randy played rhythm guitar, electric rhythm guitar on the whole album. And yeah, we've always kind of collaborated together. But leading back to what you said about Jim Martin earlier, that's kind of the first guy that let me and Randy kind of get up on stage with him back in the day, and that's kind of how we formed the All Nighters.
Yep.
That's how we've just stayed friends over the last 6-7 years.
What's great about Nashville too, you know, like there's a lot of independent artists out there, and I know a lot the new country kind of stuff has gone very poppy. But if you're down in Broadway or any of the streets off Broadway, I remember there was a place I used to go in and they used to have the songwriters. I think it was called the Commodore, and the songwriters used to go in there. But I suppose you go into the bars, and a lot of you when you're there, you're playing for tips, aren't you? But you can do all right sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I work in a bar downtown, and a lot of people don't know that is that these musicians downtown, they're getting paid a very little base salary from the bar. Because I have people all the time, even from America, asking, hey, are we supposed to tip these people? And that's how they make their money, and that's how we make our money when we're playing at the bars too and stuff. So it's, it's not necessary. You don't have to tip anybody if you don't want to, but it's how those guys make their money, you know.
God, it's a small world too, Brandon. We were just talking off air, I must tell our listeners, and Brandon brought up a name who knew me, who I met a couple of years ago when I was. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so I just posted something, and my really good friend Spencer, she commented on there and said, "I love Tommy," and I was like, "How have we never talked about this?"
How in the world?
Yeah,
you know,
it's
Tommy
funny.
Rosney.
It's funny, when I was out there 2 or 3 years ago with a friend of mine, we were doing a bit of filming, and we went out.
Yeah.
Spencer used to sing with Tanya Tucker's daughter. And they did really good, and they used to do support
Also with
to Tanya as
Tanya,
well.
I believe, for a while.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Very good. Come here, you have a guitar there between you.
Sure.
I know you have one each, but give us an old song and tell us what it's going to be. And
Oh,
we'll
sure.
talk about where you're going to be tomorrow night and Friday night.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
while Randy's getting the guitar ready, so
I need to get my fingernails on here.
tomorrow we are going to be at the Cottage Bar in Letterkenny.
Main Street.
Yes, and we're going to be there from 7 to 9
Oh, lovely.
tomorrow, and then they're going to do a folk session afterwards. And then on Friday, we are going to be there from 9 until they close the bar, which, if I had to guess, if we're involved, is going to be a lot later than the
I might
normal
come down
time.
after me show at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
There we
hey,
go.
we
Hey, we'll
probably
be
will
there.
still be there.
Right, what are you going to sing us? You're going to sing first, Randy, are you?
Sure, yeah. I'm gonna play a song that is not out yet, but will be on. We each just finished working on a record of our own, and so this will be one of the tunes off of my upcoming album. Should be out everywhere in the next 3 to 4 months, hopefully.
An exclusive.
Yeah, that's right. This song is called "I'm a Mule." I wrote this one driving from central Pennsylvania to Michigan right after the American Thanksgiving holiday. Well, I spent my whole life working on this farm. I start my every day at the crack of dawn. Might be a little run down, but I'm not quite worn. And you know I got a job to do before the daylight's gone. I ain't fast or flashy, I just do what I can. And if you treat me well enough, I won't break but I'll bend. All day in the hot sun, working the land. And you know I'm gonna see it through, right down to the end. Oh, don't you know I'm a mule, and that's all I be. You can take your heavy load and put it all on me. Might be a little stubborn, but I'm steady as she goes, all the way to the end of one more road. Some would rather be cows, just munching on hay. Some are jealous of the chickens in the coop all day. Some will wish that they were horses, running wild and free. But I think I'm alright just being me. Don't you know I'm immune, and that's all I be. You could take your heavy load, put it all on me. I might be a little stubborn, but I'm steady as she goes, all the way to the end of one more road, all the way to the end of one last road.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Very good. When did you write that song?
Oh, I wrote that probably close to 2 years ago now. I feel like I wrote that right after my last record came out. I've been lucky that just the way that my recording processes have gone, I was always, since the last two albums, just always been recording songs that I wrote a year to 2 years ago. So when you have that little bit of a backlog, it gives you plenty of time to write new stuff without having to stress about it.
Do you ever try to pitch any of your songs to some of the established stars? Now, not the new pop country ones, but some of the more traditional established artists.
I mean, as far as I know, it's not so much a matter of like pitching it like you would in the old days.
Yeah.
At least with the newer independent country scene, it's more like someone might hear it who's maybe a little more established than you are, and if they like it enough, they might want to record it. And if that happened, boy, I'd be happy.
Come here, pass the banjo over there to Brandon. Brandon, I had a great song I played of yours last year. It was a kind of a tribute song to Merle Haggard. I mentioned a lot of his songs, and a really good song that.
Well, thank you.
We'll play that a little later on, but give us something.
Yeah, so this this song is going to be on the album I just finished recording. Now, I wrote this song years and years ago, but I kind of forgot about it, and I reworked it for this album, and it's called Running Out of Options. I was just kind of in a really weird place in my life, and this is what came out. Let me get her tuned in real fast so we're all good. So this album should be out in the next 6 months or so. And I would run away if I could just get there. But all my past seemed to lead nowhere. And I would make you smile if I just knew how. But we've been spinning our tires, yeah, all this while. So what do you see in me? 'Cause I don't see it myself. I'm running out of options and I need help. I'm running out of options and I need help. Without these songs to share, hell, I'd disappear. And I bet nobody would miss me here. And this town will run you down, and so would the state. And I was hoping for change, but I just can't wait. So what do you see in me? 'Cause I don't see it myself. I'm running out of options and I need help. I'm running out of options and I need help. And if you go for broke, it's best to stay on the move. It's the same old sky, but it's a different view. And some folks are fine to just live and die. But I'd be everything I hate if I didn't try. So what do you see in me? 'Cause 'cause I don't see it myself. I'm running out of options and I need help. I'm running out of options and I need help.
Yes, indeed, I like that. I'm just looking at the two of you there now, and do you know who I'm thinking of? Randy Rogers and Wayne Bowen.
All right.
I'll take
You know,
that.
you know the two guys. Come
I'll
here.
take that comparison any day.
You were up in Buncrana last night in Flaherty's,
Yeah, we
Yep,
were.
yep.
and I see you're keeping very bad company here when you're in Donegal.
Oh,
Mark,
I don't know about
Mark
that.
Doherty.
I think he's keeping bad company.
Oh,
right?
I don't know. How did you come across that fella? He has a great album out at the moment, and I'm trying to get him up. I've been trying to get him up to the radio for the last while, and he's with you here tonight. We haven't him on camera as such, but hopefully I'll have him up here in the next 2 or 3 weeks anyway. So
Oh, yeah.
How did you come across Mark, or did he come across you?
Yeah, so we were playing
Joyce's.
Joyce's in Carndana, and Mark was in there, and the first 5 minutes we were in there, a fight broke out, and then another fight broke out, but then we met Mark, and we were like, "Hey, you want to play?" And then he grabbed our right-handed guitars, played them upside down,
Upside
left-handed, and we were like, "This kid's pretty good."
I was like, okay, all right.
And so this time around, Mark and his family have been gracious enough to allow us to stay with their house and keep them up till 7 a.m. for the last 3 days. So
You better do the same when he goes out to Nashville the next time.
Oh, we will.
we will. Yeah.
Mark ain't getting no sleep when he comes to Nashville.
Do you know what I have to ask you? How did Ireland come on your scene? You know, for two independent songwriters living in Nashville, how did the Ireland tour come on? You know, you were over last year. I think, was it the first time last year?
Yeah, so 3.5 years ago or something, me and Amelia were coming back, and you met Amelia last time.
I did,
We
I
were,
met
we were
Amelia.
coming back from Italy and Spain, and we were in the Nashville airport, and we saw a guy that just kind of looked like he knew what he was doing. And then, so Amelia basically said, "Hey, we should go and see if this guy needs some help. We'll get him a taxi, let him use our phone."
Yeah.
And his name was Sean Campbell, and he lives in Kilcar. And
Yeah,
he,
I know Sean.
And
I
he
know.
runs a little festival out there. And, a year and a half later or so, I just kind of got the idea that, hey, let's go to Ireland. I know Sean over there. He can kind of point us in the right direction, which he did. And that's just kind of how it started. And
That's right, because the festival was there just
the other
there
day, yeah.
the weekend. Were you over at it this year?
We weren't at it this year. No, we had something come up, so we ended up playing some different shows. We played at McHugh's in Carrick-on-Shannon that night, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was an interesting place for sure. And but no, we didn't play this year, and hopefully we'll be up there next year at it.
And where else? Are you anywhere else now after you leave Donegal? Or do you head back home at the weekend? Or have you any more gigs after the next 2 nights?
We'll be in Carrick at the Rusty Mackerel Saturday, and then Sunday we're doing a cool thing with a guy who we met at house show in Dublin on our last trip. This gentleman's name's Connor. He puts on a folk. It's called the First Thursday Folk Club in Boyle, and we are playing that Sunday, the 18th, I think.
Yeah, the third.
The third Sunday of the month.
You haven't been at the Beehive this year, have you? Over in Ardra with
No, we
Pat
weren't
McGill?
able to book that one this year.
Pat is a great little venue over there. And what's the story when you go back? Where are you back? How many nights a week do you do when you're back? Do you do 4 or 5 nights, 2 or 3 weekends only, or?
I mean, we're really in Nashville. We're mostly Saturday night, but we have that's our all-nighters kind of songwriter show.
Yeah.
We both have a band that we play with too occasionally at different places. But you can almost always find us Saturday nights at Bobby's Idle Hour in Nashville, Tennessee. And honestly, when we're not there, it might be because we're on the road somewhere in the States. That's kind of best way to make a little bit of money doing this music stuff is to get out of Nashville, actually.
Where is Bobby's Idle Hour? I know a few bars there on the Broadway. Is it far off Broadway, or is it?
It's not too far off Broadway. You could walk there if you really wanted to from the Broadway bars. It's about a mile, but it's on Music Row, right where all the record labels, and it's 16th Avenue and Grand.
16th Avenue. Many a day I walked on 16th Avenue.
there you go.
I remember Lacey J. Dalton had that song out.
That's
Oh, yeah,
Anytime I
song.
play that song on the radio, I always said,
I think everybody in
I remember the
Nashville,
day I walked in 16th.
I remember the day I heard that
Yeah.
song. I was
Yeah.
blown away.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a wonderful song.
Come here,
One
I'm
of
not
the
going to
best.
let you go yet. I'm going to take the news now in a few minutes, but we'll get you to sing another song each before I let you go. But any plans coming back next year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should be back in September.
Because there's a good friend of mine, I was mentioning you to him, but you didn't have any free dates. He's a guy called John Dolan. John has a band called Off the Cuff, and he was going to arrange a night where the band could play and you could come up and join him. You could do a spot for him on the show, you know?
Yeah, and
It'd be a really good old gig.
And anybody that wants to get in touch with us and book us for a show, you can find us on Facebook. Randy Ross,
Instagram.
Brandon Brindley is my name, and we're open to playing anywhere and everywhere in Ireland. And if you like us, just reach out. And
Reach out.
And what if they don't like you?
Well, then I guess
Still
just
reach out.
don't reach out.
Look, Mark, and come here. For anybody looking for any of your music, is it on Spotify or can they get it off a website or what's the story?
Yeah, we're both on all the streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can find most music, you can find us pretty much.
Well, come here. I'm going to go for a news break now and an ad break, and stay with us, and we'll get you to sing a song afterwards. How was that?
Sounds good.
Lovely.
How about Specsave ears?
Not sure.
Do you get it? Specsave ears.
Yeah, but no.
Okay, Specs, and we also do hearing too savers?
Think about it. Should have gone to Specs and we also do hearing too savers. Can't see it catching on.
Okay, so we're saying Specsavers do eyes and ears. Senses savers!
Technically true.
Yeah?
But actually terrible.
Oh, right.
At Specsavers, we're hearing experts too, and have been for over 15 years.
Oh, should we just stick to Specsavers then?
Yeah.
Book a free hearing check today. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us this Thursday at the Cub Women and Menswear Department, Dunlow, for our Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy exclusive discounts, exciting prizes, refreshments, and much more. It's our way of saying a big thank you to all our amazing customers. Celebrate with us this Thursday at the Cub Dunlow.
If you've got a smart meter, you should get an Electric Ireland smart meter plan too. Why? Because you can see a breakdown of your energy usage like never before. From heating, cooking, lighting, and more. Now you can find out how much electricity you use by hour, day, and type of appliance, making your usage clearer and your world brighter. Sign up to a smart meter plan at electricireland.ie. Smart meter required, T's and C's apply.
Live, on air, online, and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
It's 10 o'clock. I'm Daniel Pitcher. Emergency services have been dealing with a fire in Dublin this evening. Dublin Fire Brigade say that 7 engines, including a turntable ladder and emergency tender, were at the scene of a blaze at a high-rise apartment block in Santry. The ambulance service is also in attendance. Smoke has been visible, with crews working to extinguish the fire. Labour says it's vital we find out what impact the hip dysplasia scandal is having on current orthopaedic surgeries at CHI. The hospital group and the National Orthopaedic Hospital CAPA confirmed this evening that over 2,200 letters have been sent to families impacted by the scandal. The long-awaited report into the issue is currently ongoing and expected to be published next week. Labour's health spokesperson Marie Sherlock says that even though the scandal dates back as far as 2010, its impact is still being felt.
Were surgeons or other staff suspended, or were their activities curtailed on foot of the review? We know that there are significant staff shortages in orthopaedics across CHI at the moment. We know that there's an average of 319 days for surgery within CHI at this point in time.
Vladimir Putin will not travel to Turkey for peace talks on the war in Ukraine, despite calls from Volodymyr Zelensky for him to attend. The Kremlin says their delegation in Istanbul will instead be headed by presidential aide Vladimir Medensky. The Ukraine's president has previously said that he would attend talks and meet with the Russian leader in person if he agreed. Well, the UN Security Council is being warned it's repeating mistakes of the past. It comes as Doctors Without Borders slams a US-Israeli plan to control aid distribution in Gaza. The charity says its teams in Gaza City have seen a 32% increase in the number of patients showing malnutrition over the past 2 weeks. At least 80 people were killed in a fresh wave of Israeli airstrikes today. Head of the United Nations Relief Tom Fletcher addressed his colleagues at the Security Council.
Humanity, the law and reason must prevail. This council must prevail. Demand this ends. Stop arming it. Insist on accountability. To the Israeli authorities, stop killing and injuring civilians. Lift this brutal blockade. To Hamas and other armed Palestinian groups, release all hostages immediately and unconditionally. Stop putting civilians at risk.
The GPA says it's time the Camogie Association started listening to its own players. The players' representative organisation wants to see the mandatory rule on the wearing of skirts abandoned as a special congress next week. The 4 teams involved in Saturday's Leinster final say that they will play in skirts if forced, but that the game will be played under protest. A group of Tipperary teenagers went home with the top prize from today's Big Idea Showcase in Dublin. They presented an idea for an AI app which helps students learn what's needed for their future careers. Other projects to win prizes included height adjusting, accessible recycling bins and a visual equality campaign. Niamh Cooney, Head of Development and Sustainability at Big Idea, says that she was impressed by a poverty project from St Joseph's College in County Tipperary.
They just took a really simple solution, and it was tutoring, and it was getting retired teachers, grad students, anyone who might be looking for extra work, and getting subsidised tutoring for students who can't afford it otherwise, and bringing in people who need extra income. So it was really just clever ideas.
Excitement is building in Switzerland as the second Eurovision semi-final begins tomorrow. Ireland's Act Demi is third on the running for the show. Her song will have to secure enough votes to progress through to the grand final at the weekend. These Australian fans will be there tomorrow to support the nation's act Gojo.
He's going to do very, very well this year, I think. I think he's going to represent Australia really, really well. I think he'll be in the top 10 for sure. Top 5. Top 5 for sure.
It's 4 minutes past 10.
Good evening, I'm Cameron Hill. Former Ireland Sevens captain Billy Dardis says the decision to scrap the men's programme is unbelievably deflating. The IRFU confirmed today that the team will be discontinued, with High Performance Director David Humphreys calling the move necessary to secure the long-term success of Irish rugby. The women's Sevens programme will be retained. Dardis revealed there had been warning signs around the survival of the programme for quite some time.
10 players retired last year after Paris and not one player was replaced. So they only had 13, 14 lads over the whole squad this year. Didn't bring in one. So you kind of see the cracks. I think I've come to terms with it. I think the lads have come to terms with it. It's now, okay, I need to find a job for next year.
Hannah Dingley is set to leave her role as the FAI's head of women's and girls football after just 12 months. The former Forest Green men's manager joined the association last May to take up the role vacated by Eileen Gleeson after she became head coach of the women's seniors team. But multiple outlets are reporting that Dingley is set to depart, with confirmation expected from the association later this week. The times and venues have been confirmed for the first round of group games in this year's All-Ireland Football Championship. 4 games are down for decision on Saturday, May 24th. Meath will host Cork in Navan for a 3 o'clock throw-in. Newbridge is the venue for newly minted Leinster champions Louth against Monaghan from 4:45. It's a 5 o'clock start for Armagh against Derry at the Boxit Athletic Grounds, and Ulster champions Donegal face provincial rivals Tyrone in Ballybuffet from 7. And Tipperary have successfully retained their Munster under-20 hurling crown this evening. A controversial penalty decision saw the Premier County beat Clare by 319 to 120 at the Gaelic grounds. Last year's beaten finalist Dublin will get the chance to go one step further in the Leinster hurling final next week. The Dubs were 218 to 17 points winners over Galway in tonight's under-20 semi-final in Tullamore. They'll face Kilkenny in next Wednesday's decider after they beat Laois by 26 points to 1-9 in Portlaoise. And that's your sport at 6 minutes past 10.
Heading down the road trying to make a couple bucks, and I'd cash it all in for an ounce of luck. The hum of the interstate, my wheels on the road. I've been driving all day, need a place to go. I Got Merle playing, I love to hear him sing. Well, I'm a lonesome fugitive in silver wings, and I take a lot of pride in what I am. But life is hard when you're a branded man, and I'm a rambling man, that's all I'll ever be. Yeah, mama tried, but the right path was hard to see. I could be in a crowd and feel alone. Never once have I felt at home, but I got a good woman who cares about me. Yeah, my mind's always thinking about when to leave. And if the good times are over, won't you sing me home? A wore out welcome, it's time to move on. So I hop on the road like times before. Yeah, I'm always searching, always wanting more. 'Cause I'm a rambling man, that's all I'll ever be. Yeah, mama tried, but the right path was hard to see. And I'm a rambling man, that's all I'll ever be. Yeah, mama tried, but the right path was hard to see.
That's one of my guests in the studio tonight. That's Mark Bringley, and a song called Merle. We mentioned that when we were chatting to him earlier on. And lads, as I say, you're doing the rounds here anyway in Donegal, and you're coming near the end of it, and that's good. Mark, that's the song Merle Haggard. How did that come across?
Brandon.
Brandon. What did I call you there?
Mark. Well, Mark is sitting
Mark
right
is
there.
here. Mark, you're throwing
Mark
him
is
off.
over there. I'll have to change my tablets.
Fair enough.
I was looking at him.
We did kind of look alike. I'm a little bit taller than Mark.
Aye, a little bit. Come here. When did you write that song?
I wrote that right during COVID, so that we were the first farm tapes that we did. We were out at Amelia's family farm, and I wrote that sitting in the cab of a 71 F-250 pickup truck when it was raining. And then I put it on that album that we recorded like a week later. And then that's the second iteration of that song that was on my last album a couple years ago. So
yeah, the lyrics is really good. You know how you fit in the names of all the different songs in it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So there you go. What about you, Randy?
What's that?
You're not Mark. You're Randy, aren't you?
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention. What's the question?
I've been drinking too much water during the. I'm saying now, when are you going to have your new album out? Were you telling me?
It should be just in the next 3 to 4 months. I'm shooting to have the first single out by middle to end of July. That's going to be a duet with my good friend Stacey Antonell, who is one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. And she agreed to do this song that I wrote with another good friend of mine, Alex Barnes. And I'm just super stoked about that one. And then hopefully that'll be out by July. And then the rest, maybe do 1 or 2 more singles and then put out the whole thing a few months later.
And come here, did you ever do anything together where the two of you are singing together or duet sort of thing, no?
The Farm Tapes is probably the closest thing we have to like a real duet, just like an album that we collaborated on together. no true duets with me and Brandon yet, but
You just don't like 'em.
it's never out of the picture either.
Hey, we started recording a George Jones, Merle Haggard song at one point in time, and then we just got who knows what happened.
A few old boys like us, Randy Travis and George Jones. Come here, you give us another song there before I let you go.
Sure.
Tell me what you're
do
going to do.
I have time to tell a quick story for
you
this
can,
one?
tell a few stories if you want.
All right. So this one, this is a song by a good friend of mine and one of my biggest influences in songwriting. He's originally from Asheville, North Carolina, but he has been in Nashville for 30, 40 years. A guy named Ray Sisk. Now, that Cried Like the Rain song you played was a song that I put on my last album. That was a huge honor for him to give me the okay to record one of his songs, because this guy basically taught me everything I know about how to write a good song. When I first moved to Nashville, he was, kind of one of the old guard type of guys, who just one of the most well-respected writers in the whole city, which is saying a lot. And he really sort of took me and Brandon under his wing in various ways, and really just getting to watch him play twice a week at the old version of Bobby's Idle Hour. It was as much of a songwriting education as you could ever hope. So I asked him if I could do this song for this next record, and he gave me the okay because he was happy with my version of Cried Like the Rain. And he unfortunately just passed away, developed stage 4 cancer, and he went from, he was one of the most healthy 75-year-old guys you ever met, and it was like that between getting the news and then he passed just a few weeks ago. So very sad. I sent him the song when he was sort of coming down to the end there, and to this day I don't know if he ever heard it before he passed, but he's hearing it now. So anyways, this is his song. It's going to be on my next record. It's called Hard Days and Soft Nights.
Looking forward to hearing that.
Paid my dues with a roofing crew out on the North Carolina line. Well, I remember that summer, let me tell you, brother, was hard work all the time. But when I'd get home, she'd be standing in the door, making it clear what I was working for. They were hard days, that was all right. 'Cause after those hard days came them soft nights. I smile every morning, waking up, going to work before daylight. 'Cause after those hard days came them soft nights. It was hotter than boiling water by the time July rolled around. It could have been a bummer, but I loved that summer, nailing them shingles down. 'Cause she was sweeter than the jasmine on the breeze. And thinking about that girl gets me weak in the knees. They were hard days, that was all right. 'Cause after those hard days came them soft nights. I smile every morning, waking up, going to work before daylight. 'Cause after those hard days came them soft nights. After those hard days came them soft nights. After those hard days came them soft nights.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
That song, lad, you mentioned it was your friend of yours. Would he have been anything to Junior Sykes?
What's that?
Would he have been anything to Junior Sykes, There's a guy, a bluegrass singer called Junior. He had the same.
Oh, I know. His name is Sisk, S-I-S-K.
Sorry,
but yeah, he is related though to a guy named John Scott Sherrill who wrote some great hits for John Anderson and Josh Turner too.
Yeah,
as well as many other artists back in the day.
He just did that new Randy Travis song too that came out like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, John Scott's still kicking too.
Yeah, and he's still getting cuts and doing the whole thing. He's great.
Is Randy, just before I let you go, this fella next to you, is his name Brandon? Did you say?
That's right.
Brandon might give us one more song before I let you go.
Yeah.
I know Mark's mum said you have to be back in the house by 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. So
It's a
this
long night tomorrow
Can't
night.
make Mama D mad.
What's it called?
So this song, I just finished this with my buddy Brett Pennington, and he actually just put out a song. It's called "Real Lonely Men," and we wrote this, I guess, about a week before I hit the plane to come to Ireland. It's called "3,000 Miles of Ocean."
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm a long way from home, but it feels alright tonight. There's a fireplace and a big old jug of wine. These Irish hills, they remind me of Tennessee. But it's raining and I'm lonesome 'cause you're not here with me. 3,000 miles of ocean between me and you. I wonder if you see the stars the way I do. Just one more week away from you. Just one more week away from you. Got my heart on the line and they don't even know my songs. Singing way back to you, not knowing if I even belong. And taking chances has got me nothing so far. Jukebox ate my quarters and I stacked up a tab at the bar. 3,000 miles of ocean between me and you. I wonder if you see the stars the way I do. It's just one more night away from you. It's just one more night away from you. Between me and you. Wonder if you see the stars the way I do. I couldn't take one more night away from you. I couldn't take one more night away from you.
Great stuff, Brandon. Great stuff. Lovely
Appreciate it.
song. Right, before I let you go now, lads, just to give a little roundup, tomorrow night you're down in the cottage. What time does that gig start at again? Did you say 7 o'clock?
7 to 9 tomorrow.
7. And what time Friday?
Friday is 9 to late.
So 7 to 9, and you'll be after there's a folk.
We're going to be before the folk tomorrow, 7 to 9, and then Friday, I think we're the only thing on the bill as far as I know.
We're closing it down Friday.
We sure will.
Well, come here, lads. It's been great having you up. It's been a year since. Hopefully, we'll have you back next year again.
Oh, yeah.
And going to leave you with something completely different now, and you're going to have to suffer through this.
Perfect.
He's a young fella from Carndonagh who's making a bit of a name for himself. His name is Mark Doherty, and he recorded
Who's this guy?
As we sat on the front porch of that old grey house where I